So the first step to making cornbread is to preheat your oven and to preheat your pan if you're using cast iron. I'm using a 12-inch cast iron skillet here. I'm gonna put it in dry. Yes, it does have a little bit of oil, but it's basically dry. And I'm gonna preheat it with my oven. Very important. If you're not using cast iron, you can preheat your pan, but you really don't have to. But really though, this gives the best cornbread. Now that I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees, I'm gonna mix up my batter. It's important that you follow these steps to mix up this batter so that it doesn't lose all of its fluffiness and good texture. First, I'm gonna mix up the dry ingredients. In here, I have my whole wheat flour and my cornmeal. And then I'm gonna add my baking powder and my baking soda. Yes, you have to use both. I've tried one and the other. It works best if you add both, honestly. And I'm gonna add my sugar. You can vary the sugar in this recipe dependent upon your taste. You can use as little as a 1/4 cup. You can use as much as 3/4 of a cup. All that information will be on my blog post. And we're gonna stir. You wanna make sure that you don't have any clumps of flour and you don't have any clumps of sugar. And before somebody asks, yes, you can use brown sugar. I highly encourage it. I just don't have any. And now I'm gonna set this to the side. Now I'm gonna mix my liquid ingredients. The liquid ingredients you can really vary. You can use any non-dairy milk that you want. I've used coconut, almond, cashew, soy. It really doesn't matter. I happen to have in here 1 cup of regular milk, just 2% dairy milk, and a 1/2 cup of water. In total, you need 1.5 cups of liquid. You can use all water, you can use some water, some milk. It's kind of up to you. I'm just saving on the calories here. I also added 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to this. If you didn't want to use vinegar, you can just use buttermilk instead of milk and vinegar. I'm gonna add in 1 egg. Because we're saving on the oil calories, I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of applesauce. It's important to note this is unsweetened applesauce. And I'm gonna add a little bit of oil because it does add good flavor and texture to the cornbread. You can also use butter. I just don't feel like melting any butter. So I'm gonna add 1/2 of my oil now, and the other tablespoon of oil I'm gonna use to grease the pan. And if you want your cornbread to taste more dessert-like, you can add a 1/2 to 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Only the pure stuff, please, if you want. Today, I'm not going to. And I'm basically gonna stir this until it's all mixed together and the egg is nice and combined with the mixture. Now, the obvious next step would be to mix these two together, right? You're wrong. Because my pan is not yet ready to go back into the oven, my oven is not preheated, I do not want to mix these two together. Because there's baking soda and baking powder in this, and an acid in the form of vinegar in this, if I mix them together now, by the time my oven is preheated, this will lose its lifting power and this will turn out to be a brick. And that's not tasty at all. So, I'm gonna wait until my oven has been nicely preheated for probably at least 10 minutes until I mix these two together. Don't skip this step. Okay, my oven just finished preheating, so now I'm gonna mix my batter together. It's not really hard, just pour all of it in. And mix thoroughly. I'm one of those people that don't want lumps. And I know somebody's gonna ask, can I add actual corn into this? My answer is, if you want to. You could probably get away with a 1/2 to 1 cup of corn. If you're using frozen, please defrost it first and kind of drain away all the liquid. And this is about the consistency that you want. You want it to be thick, but you still want it to be able to roll off of your whisk or your spoon kind of easily. My pan is very hot. I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of oil. I would not suggest butter for this. Butter will burn. Use a heat-resistant spatula to spread the oil. Hear that sizzle? Try to get it along the sides if you want to. Please do not use a spray jar of oil. You could ignite it. Now take your mixture from, I would say, at least 6 inches in height and pour it into your pan. Because it's a little dangerous to tap a hot pan of oil, you're gonna try to want to get all the air bubbles out if you can. Scrape the bowl into the pan, don't waste. For some reason it's uneven, just kind of shake it a little bit to even it out. Optional step here, I'm gonna take a little bit of coarse sugar and just sprinkle it on top because after it's done cooking, it's really nice and textural. I only used about a tablespoon of sugar. Now, stick this in your preheated 400-degree oven and bake it for at least 25 minutes before you check on it. And again, please be careful. This is extremely hot. After 25 minutes, you want to stick a toothpick into the middle of your cornbread. And I already did. And it should come out completely clean. And if it does, it is done. Let this cool for 5 to 10 minutes before cutting into it. You can get a good 8 slices out of this, more if you're stingy. And it'll stay good in the fridge for 2 to 3 days. But really, guys, you should eat this like all in one sitting because it's awesome. If you guys want the ingredients and the written directions for this recipe, visit my website, www.baileyneighbor.com. As always, the links will be in the description below. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye. Because my husband ate all of it for breakfast. Yeah, I'm looking at you.